Of course, Airplay has helped us keep wires out of the system. Now you can actually AirPlay from your iPad to your Mac or PC. This episode brought to you by Dyn.com. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to iPad 365, the show where we look at apps to keep your iPad play. Today we're going to show you an app that you don't install on your iPad, but you install on your Mac, or you can install on your PC as well. First of all, I want to let you know iPad 365 is the Twitter handle. Feel free to come over there, say hi, suggest an app, so on and so forth. Also, show at ipad-365.com is where you go to suggest an app or say hi. Hi, how you doing? Would you like some coffee cake? I don't have any coffee cake. I got some brownies in the kitchen though. Come have some brownies and a little bit of cup of coffee. Coffee with brownies makes it kind of like coffee cake, except it's brownies and coffee cake, which makes it like a chocolate coffee cake. Pretty cool. All right, today we're going to be showing you this app right here. It's called Reflector, and basically, you know how you can actually, how I've been actually pushing the iPad to the screen that I have usually on my left side, your right side, and that goes through an Apple TV using a thing called Airplay, which is a wireless connection to your TV, so you can watch videos, or you can show the screen to a group of people, or whatever you need to do. Now, one thing about Airplay is it can connect your iPad or your iPhone to an Apple TV, but when it came to a Mac, the Mac could actually connect to the Apple TV, but you could not connect the iPad or the iPhone to the Mac, and a lot of people really want this functionality. That is where Reflector comes in. It's an app that's out there for your iPad, your iPhone. It installs onto your Mac, it installs onto your PC. You get a special code. There's a free version. If you don't put in the code, you can use it for 10 minutes and then it turns itself off. But for $15, you can get a license code, which you can then put onto your Mac, you can put onto your PC, so on and so forth. So here's how it basically works. There's a little option down in the corner. What we'll do is we'll get out of full screen mode here. And down in the corner here, you'll see a little reflector option, which I'm not going to close, because if I close and open it back up, then I've got to reconnect it, everything like that. Don't want to do that. So you click on Reflector, and it brings up this little option right here in Reflector. I can choose a lot of different options. I can actually do more than one device. If I've got an iPhone and an iPad, or multiple iPads, it'll actually say this is iPad 0, that's iPad 1, iPad 2, so on and so forth. So you can switch back and forth, because this is really cool. Because not only can you put on a frame skin, like let's say I want to show you iOS with an iOS black skin on it, or if I want to change it up and I want to say, okay, I want to show you with a iOS white mini, I can then do that, and then of course bring it up here. I can enter into full screen, and then of course you can see it as if it was from an iPad mini white model, which is pretty cool, because then you can picture what the app looks like. And of course, the functionality is pretty good. Now, I've had some problems. I won't kid you on this. I've had some problems, but I think they're more router-based than anything. You got to remember that this is going off your wireless. So if your wireless signal is not that great in the living room or in the bedroom or something like that, it's going to have a hard time connecting and get you a good signal, especially when you're going 30 frames. It's going to start to jump around and look really bad, and you're going to wonder why that is. All right, so now we've got our white mini here. We can actually change this around. We can say, okay, I want this to be actually, I can force the screen to portrait away. Now it's portrait size, so if I go full screen here, so you don't see all my ugly apps, you can actually see at full screen. And if I flip this around, you'll see that it just flipped around as well. And if I flip it back, it'll flip it back as well. Some other cool features about it is you can actually resize it. You can go into full size screen, but you can also do this. This is actually pretty cool. You can record your device. Let me find my mouse here. If you go up to device and you go start recording, I can actually record the screen. So as I'm going, I can flip over. I can say, okay, I do this LED machine. There it is right there. It pulls up the LED machine, and I say, join me on iPad 365, an app a day to keep your iPad at play. We'll go full screen here. And of course, you can actually see the ending credit on there. And that's pretty cool. So And as you can see, it looks as long as the wireless is doing well, it can keep up with the 30 frames a second. You might see some skipping. That's usually what happens when you pull out to AirPlay. Same thing happens when I go from my iPad to my Apple TV. It'll miss a frame or two and go from there. But it does pretty well for what it does. The name of the app is called Reflector. It's not in the App Store. You're going to have to go to reflectorapp.com, reflectorapp.com, and pull it up and use it from there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually flip this around, hook up the actual monitor that I normally use, and then we're going to show you how easy that is to actually do that. You know, you want a faster internet, right? From bottlenecks, from traffic spikes, it can keep people from reaching your website. Because let's face it, uptime is the most important thing for your websites. That's where Dyn.com comes in. With outsourced DNS, you can make sure people can get to your websites. Just like the big boys, companies like Twitter, Zappos, Netflix, and more trust Dyn to keep their services up and not bottlenecking. And with their enterprise level DNS, you can get great features like global traffic, load balancing, and active failover, which they do for over 4 million customers. Another advantage, with managed DNS, you can connect items like webcams or DVRs to private channels so you can pull from at any time. And if your business relies on that email list of yours, well, Dyn's email solutions can get your message to clients and customers with secure email, bulk email, and high volume mailbox services. It's simple. Get faster internet by using Dyn for DNS. Simply visit dyn.com, that's dyn.com/podcast30, and fill out the contact form or start shopping right away and save 30% by using the promo code podcast30. That's all over at dyn.com/podcast30. All right, so now we're back, and I have the monitor set up here. It's not set up properly, so you'll have to forgive me as I'm doing this really quick. So basically what I have here is I have a regular DVI cable, the white plug cable, and of course I'm using the Thunderbolt port because my MacBook does support Thunderbolt, although this does work on older Macs as well. In fact, when I tested it out with a friend, he was on I think a generation earlier Mac, so it's very possible to do this, but I've got the Thunderbolt port, so I'm going to connect it up here. So I've got this right onto the monitor, so what I'll do is I'll connect this up to the Thunderbolt. And it's going to recognize the screen, and I have this at multiple displays. So let me set this to singular display and go from there. Actually, what I just did was I moved it over to the second screen instead of playing with primary secondary display. And I moved it over, and of course I ran it to full screen. And of course it's still running the same stuff. I'm going into my iPad, there's my LED machine, and it flips it over, it goes from there. Now I can exit out of full screen mode, and I can even control from back here. So if I want to record what I'm recording, then I can go back to device, hit that once again, and as you might see on the top of the screen recording right about there. And then of course we'll enter into full screen mode. Then I'll flip it around, and I'll do a little bit of flipping through my apps. I'll bring it into portrait mode and back to landscape mode. If you're playing a video or something like that, let's say this is one I did very early called Catch last year. So now what you'll see is it's actually playing. What's interesting is it's actually playing on the iPad and playing here. There are some things that'll actually play on one or the other. Now it might have just been the ad, so this might go full screen. And the audio is being played on the MacBook, so I can actually turn off the audio there, or I can turn off the audio here and go from there. So that is the app. It's called Reflector. If you need a MacBook that needs to actually connect up to your iPad or your iPhone. All right, I babbled enough about this. Once again, reflectorapp.com is where you go. It's an awesome app. As you can see, like I said, it's doing 30 frames a second pretty darn well, as I'm talking about a different app over here and a different app over here. So, all right, that does it for this episode of iPad 365. What'd you think? Do you like this app? Are you going to give this a try? Let me know what you think. Once again, got to have a good stable wireless connection to do this. So check it out, and then Twitter me over at iPad365, or you can email me at show@ipad-365.com. ipad365.com. And you can suggest an app, or you can talk about how well you like this app, or if you don't like the app at all. All right, we're going to be back on Monday where we're going to show you how to scan in cards into your iPad, another app. And we will do that on Monday when it will be another episode of iPad 365. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. You guys geek out. You should follow Graphite on Twitter at GraphiteINC.